morning, everyone. This is Paul with Forex Smart Trade. I'm glad you could be here this morning. Our goal is to help you become the best version of yourself, and we do that by helping people become financially independent, by teaching them to currency trade with our proprietary indicators, and using company money. It is terrific to have sun in the morning. We've been doing these when it's always dark, but it's nice to have the sun up this morning. On these sessions, during the trial, we teach two techniques basically. The first one is something called the thick orange line trade. The second one is the 10-point trade. I will go over both. These are just a couple of the signals we have in our arsenal of signals. The more signals you know, the more opportunities you have to take a good trade. I use these two to start with because they're on the simple side, and they're easy to figure out and see if they're there. So with that, let's get started. I like to, I have a routine that I like to follow. First step of it is to review the previous day's activities. Here, since we're only doing it once a week, we'll go back and take a look at what we did last week. I specifically like to focus in on the bad trades. Last week we took 3 trades, and one of them didn't work. We got stopped out on. On the 3 trades in my live account, in this account, we split we did a lot size based on how much is in this account. This is a demo account. It had 8,300. The time it had $8,400 something dollars. To figure out what the proper lot size is, we just move this decimal place over 4 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 0.83 should be our lot size. With 0.83, we shouldn't really take more than have 2 open trades at the time. We took 3 trades because I think one of them closed right away while we were still online, so we had the ability to take more. Now, when I trade, I adjust my lot size, and if you saw my my live account from last week, USD Canadian is one of the pairs that I sometimes trade. I only trade a handful of pairs, and in trading a handful of pairs, I become familiar with the movement of the pair. So as USD Canadian was a pair that I trade, when I took the trade in my live account, I took a 10 lot size. For these other 2 trades, since I don't normally trade them, I took a 1 lot size. So even though I lost on this with a 1 lot size, my 10 lot size on the USD Canadian more than made up for the loss. So on this session, since we are looking for trades, I go through pairs that I don't normally trade. So if it's a pair that I'm not familiar with, I lower the lot size because of my because I'm unfamiliar. So fundamental analysis. Before we start every day, we should take a look at the news. The reason we take a look at the news is our indicators are technical based, and what that means, they work off of the movement of the prices. So they're very good at figuring out when the turns are going to happen, but one of the things they can't figure out is how news is going to impact the currency pair. So we will start each day by taking a look at the news and seeing if there is something that might impact it. And we do that by going to a website called Forex Factory. It provides a news feed, and it breaks the news down into kind of three categories: the yellow or low impact, the orange or medium impact, and the red or high impact. If I see an item in red, I kind of want to stay, I don't want to be sitting on a trade in that, because I don't know how that's going to impact the currency movement, and I don't want to get caught with a big move in the opposite direction of what I'm predicting. So right now it's 6:30. Depending on what the trade is, we are 3.5 hours away from that. So if it's a thick orange line trade, we could probably get away with that, because I'm going to expect the thick orange line trade to close within the next hour. If it is a 10-point trade, we will take a look and evaluate whether we think it's going to close before 10 a.m. One of the reasons we work off of a 1 hour chart with new traders is because we're expecting the trades on a 1 hour chart. We expect the trades to close between 1 and 4 hours from when we see the signal. So, and then there's a couple things for the Australian dollar tonight. We don't need to worry about that. That's so far away. All right. So we've done that. The technical analysis we will do on our 10-point trade. We really don't need to do that on the thick orange line trade. So let's see if we have any trades. Here is the chart that is the default chart on your accounts. On the 10-point trade, I start with the majors and minors, and I am looking for I'm not quite sure. I'm looking for the lines to be overbought or oversold. And then if they are overbought, I'd like them turned down and double crossed. If I have those three conditions, I get 3 points, and then I'll continue to look to the TNTs to support what I'm seeing here. My was that my green line isn't on here, and I'll have to figure that out after we get off the call. But right now the red is pointing up, so it doesn't matter. So we're overbought, but I don't have the majors and minors pointed down. Pound dollar, we're overbought, still not pointing down, and I'm guessing I'm going to see that on all of these, because the US dollar is driving all of these pairs in this first chart. So if one of them is, pointing up, the most of them will be either pointing up or pointing down, depending on what side the dollar is. Australian US dollar, overbought. Minors are starting to point down. Majors are still pointing up. So I have nothing. US dollar, Swiss franc, oversold, pointing down. US yen, oversold, pointing down. And US Canadian, oversold, pointing down. So nothing here on our 10-point charts. So let's go to the second group. And now these are some pairs with that don't have the US in them. Euro pound, I'm in the middle, so I'm neither in the middle of the channel, neither overbought or oversold. Australian dollar yen, I am overbought. The majors are overbought. Miners have already started to go down into the trend, but these guys are pointing up still. And here you can see that the miners kind of got faked out. They thought things were going down when they were really going up. Euro Canadian. I am oversold. I have the miners pointing up. The majors aren't quite there yet. They're getting there. They're trying to point up. Right now they're going sideways, and I don't have the double cross. And what I mean by the double cross is I want the gray crossing over the black and the green crossing over the red on its way up. So not quite there yet. Australian New Zealand dollar, oversold, pointing down. New Zealand USD, overbought, pointing up. When you see this pattern, and what I mean by pattern, this kind of looks like a duck's head, and this is his bill. That is usually an indication that it is going to keep shooting up, which is what it did. Shot up another 13 pips. Normally, I don't like to take a buy when the indicators are overbought, but when you see this, that's an opportunity to take a buy. And then Euro AUD, he's kind of stuck in the middle of the channel. So nothing there. Now we'll go to our third pair, our third set of 6 pairs. And again, normally I don't go through this many pairs. I'm just focused on that first chart, and I'm usually just looking at 3 pairs: euro dollar, pound dollar, U.S. Canadian. And if I see something there, I take it. If I don't, I don't. Oversold, but not pointing up, in the middle of the channel. Swiss franc yen, euro yen, not pointing down. Overbought, but not quite pointing down. AUD, or pound AUD, it's in the middle of the channel and about halfway. If this were a little more steep, this line, and it wasn't quite halfway, I might consider taking it. But the slope on it isn't quite strong enough, so I'm going to pass. NZD CHF, overbought and pointing up. CAD CHF, overbought, pointing up. So we had nothing on a 10-point trade on any of these. What would happen is if I saw, well, here so euro yen, he is now starting to point down. I don't mind that the miners are already in here. Majors are starting to point down, so I've got 3 points. 1 they're above, 2 they're pointing down, and 3 I've got a double cross on both. So when I get the double, when I have this, then I'm going to go up to the TNTs and I'm going to count how many lines are moving in the same direction as what I want. So the 2 orange lines are going down, so that supports a down move. On the blue lines, they're inversely related. So when they're moving up, that means down. Dotted blue is moving up. So I've got 3 of the 4 lines in my favor. Thick blue is going down. I don't get a point for that. So I've got 3 out of 4 here. I need a minimum of 3 out of here. So 3 here, 3 here. And then I want to take a look at the pressure. Pressure is going down slightly. Both lines going down is a big gap. So it's not a strong down signal. So I get 1 point for that downness here. So 3 here, 3 here, 1 here. Then it becomes what is this trade worth? So to figure out what this trade is worth is I'm going to open up the detailed chart on it. And to open up the detailed chart, Euro, let me see if I've got one. I don't recall trading Euro yet. Euro, JPY, and I do. I'm going to open it up. I don't have this arranged the way I like, but we'll deal with it. Here's a 60-minute chart. Here's a 120. Here's a 240. Here's a day. Over here's a 5-minute chart, 15, and a 30. I don't usually use the 15 anymore. And here is a clean chart just showing the candles. So first I want to take a look at the clean chart, and I want to see where my support and resistance is. And support and resistance is, you'll notice that the lines come down to a certain point and tend to stop. I want to know where those stops are because the market tends to repeat those stops. So here, came down to here, stopped here, kind of bumped a little bit here and a little bit here. On a 60-minute chart, which is, these lines tend to be about 30 pips apart. You see I'm stopping right in here, bouncing a little bit in here, bouncing a little bit in here, bouncing in here. Let's make one more above. And one below. So bouncing right here, bouncing right here. I'm going to open this back up. I'm going to open this back up. So if we go back to my trade routine, on my technical report, my technical analysis, I want to know where the support and resistance are, what the trend is, where the channel is. We don't need to do a Fibonacci retracement, and we don't go into that on the introductory. One last thing I want to do is I like to see where the day breaks are. So I just went into a chart vertical grid. Now, so looking at this, we've got a very kind of slight down movement in terms of the trend, and with respect to where the current price is, I've got about 20 pips till I hit this resistance line and 15 pips till I hit this resistance line or the support line. So I got 15 pips down, 20 pips up. Reason I care is because I am betting, or I'm assuming, that when it comes down, it's gonna bounce off of this like it did here. It bounced, went up, stopped, went up, stopped, came down. So I'm going to assume that it's going to trade within this range. So now that I know where that is, that gives me an idea of how many points I can take going up or down. On the 60-minute, we've got a down. We've got our 7 points here. Then I am going to look, my 5-minute is down. My pressure is sideways. Sideways generally means retracement. Retracement means it's going to mimic the candle in front of it. So that's not giving me much help. On the 30-minute chart, my majors and minors are going, my majors are going down, my minors are kind of going sideways, and I've got, again, sideways pressure. Sideways pressure would suggest it's going to go up a little bit, and this is kind of going up. Red crossed over on top. Usually when red crosses over on top, we are going to see a red candle on the next candle, which we did. We got the crossover here, and red came, we've got a red candle here. On the 120, I've got green crossing over, downward pressure, but green crossing over, suggesting it's about to turn. These guys are in the channel going up, but a very weak up. On the 240, I've got downward pressure, which is what I want, but green just crossed over on top. So I'm expecting this to start going up. Again, these are going up. And on the day chart, I've got down pressure with green on top. I don't like this guy. This turn here isn't quite steep enough for me. So I don't like, and right now on the 5 minutes, everybody's starting to turn up. So it looks like it's going up in for the next little bit. And this little bit of up here is causing this guy to go more sideways. So I don't have enough support when I look at the full chart. So what we did is we've got the signal here. And then once I got the signal, I went to a more detailed chart to figure out what's the trade worth. And in figuring out what the trade is worth, I look at the other time indicators to give me an idea as to how strong the trade is going to be and how much movement I have between the support and resistance. So I don't like this trade enough. So we're going to pass. And new traders have a tendency to try to force the trades. I did it when I started. It causes aggravation and causes you to lose money. So just there's enough good trades in a day where you really only need to make 3 or 4 good trades and you're making good money. You don't need to make 10 trades. So let's just try to follow, let's just find the good ones and take the good ones. On the thick orange line trade, I am looking at this number here. This number is associated with the scale on the thick orange line. I want this number to be 0 or minus 100 or within 10 points of either. If I have that, then I am going to look for confirmation by looking at my majors and minors. So let's, minus 16 isn't 0 or 100. Minus 27 isn't 0 or 100. Minus 74 isn't 0 or 100. Minus 49 is. That's within 10 pips of, within 10 points of minus 100. So I've got condition A met on the USD CHF. All 4 lines are below the oversold line. So this is a good trade. Let's go ahead and take it. To take it, I open up my CoinEx. We've got 5 minutes left. We have 5 minutes left in the hour. So I am going to open up the chart, USD CHF. To open up the chart, I go to File, new chart, and then I look for it. USD CHF, he's right here. If he wasn't right in this group, I'd look in this group. If he wasn't in that group, I'd look in this group. But he's right up here. I don't like the way this looks, so I've made templates. So I go to template, and I'm just going to grab one of the templates. And on this second row here is the new order bar. I press new order. I check my symbol, it's correct. My volume, we said we're going to move the decimal place over 4 points. So I'm going to go with 0.83. Market execution, and it is a buy. It records the trade down below. So I've got order number, time, what I did, lot size, the pair, what price I got in at, and stop loss and take profit are 0, 0. So I need to set that. To set it, I just right click anywhere along that line, go to modify, and I'm going to tell it the parameters that I want. So this trade is, thick orange line trade is always good for 5 pips. So 5 pips equals 50 points. So I need to add an extra 0 on there. If I click this little blue button, it does the math for me. And as a new trader for right now, we're just going to have you use 4 times whatever your take profit is for your stop loss. So if I've got a 5 pip anticipated take profit, I'm going to put in 4 times. This number is based on how accurate we know the trade to be. So this trade is accurate over 90% of the time. So if you win 9 trades for 5 pips, that's 45 pips. You lose 1 for 20, you're still ahead 25 pips. So let us put that number in. And I always, on these small little trades, I like to actually do the math for the take profit. So if I got in at 93 or 97.30, I'm going to go to 97.35. So we will do that. That's close enough. Let us see if we've got any more. We still have another 2 minutes left. Minus 64 isn't close enough. Minus 75 isn't close enough. On Euro GPP, I've got a 0. And I've got 3 of the 4 lines above. I want to have all 4 lines above. Let's keep going. Minus 100, so that's part 1 of the signal. But all my lines are up here. I want them down below the red. So no good. Euro Canadian, minus 54. Australian New Zealand, minus 85. Not there yet. New Zealand USD, minus 70. Not there yet. Let's see. Euro Australian dollar, 0. Yes, but my lines are still in the channel, so it's not ripe yet. Minus 87, no. Swiss franc yen, 0, yes, but my lines aren't quite there yet. Euro yen, minus 25, or minus, no. Pound Australian dollar, minus 50, no. New Zealand Swiss franc, minus 100, yes, but my lines are up here. I want them down here. And CAD CHF, minus 91, my lines are up here. This actually right now is looking good for a 10-point trade. Everybody's above, pointing down. I've got so 3 points here. The two oranges are going down. Thick blue going up. Yes. And I've got red crossing over. Let us, the clock just changed. Let's see what the full candle looks like. So that was Canadian Swiss franc. Canadian Swiss franc. So I'm opening up an existing chart. I'm sure I've never traded that pair before. So I'm going to go to chart settings. I'm going to go to symbol and just change the symbol. Canadian Swiss franc. Right here. Click OK. Click apply. So it's going to change all of my charts. Click OK. I'm going to click save as. So we will CAD, CHF. I want to know what I might have. I want to know where my support and resistance is. Stopping here, right in here, right in here, right in here, right over here. Stopping here, right up here, over here. Let's take one under. And one above. All right, so we are trading into a uptrend. Been going up the last week. So when I trade into an uptrend, I want to be careful on taking a down trade, a sell trade. I'm going to go for less pips than I might normally go for if I was trading into an uptrend or trading into a downtrend. Then I want to know how much room do I have till I hit this line. I've got about 13 pips and I got about 7 pips up there. So down, I have all of the 7 points here. I've got down, red on top. This is starting to curl down. Pressure is down. I'm oversold. These guys are still going down. On the 1 hour, this guy is a little bit of a duckbill, so he's suggesting that there might still be some up left in this movement. So even though I've got the signal here, the 2 hour chart is telling me that things are going up. So with that, I am not going to I'm not going to take the trade. I'm gonna hold off on it. Remember the duckbill. Looks like a duck's face. Put his eye here, and here's his beak. The beak's telling me that there's going to be a little bit more up. So we will not take this trade. So we looked at a couple 10-point trades, but we didn't see them. Let's go back and take a look at our thick orange line trade. He is profitable and on his way. The other confirmation on a thick orange line trade like this, USD CHF, is I can go back to the top of the last hour by clicking this right hand guy. So minus 95. Some traders and coaches will say they'll just wait right to the top of the hour and see how much this number changes by. If it changes by more than 10, they'll take the trade, and it changed by 20. So it should be a good trade. Okay, that is it. Any questions? All right, great. Thanks for being joining us. If you have any questions, just reach out to me, send me a text, or give me a call, and we'll get it squared away. Again, thanks so much for being here. Bye-bye.